paranormal cold spots, not to be confused with meteorological cold spots. Always looks a little creepy when you get that nighttime footage, doesn't it? Food for thought. 6, 7, 8 degrees. 9 degrees, St. Catherine this evening. Still musing about all of that. Good to see you. You're musing about the forecast. I'll get right onto it. Wind chills tonight. Yeah, we've got a little bit of a wind chill. Temperatures will stay above zero. It looks like throughout the entire GTA, but bear in mind, this is probably the last night. We've got a couple really cold nights coming up, so if you haven't turned the water off to your outdoor taps yet or drained the hoses, yes, I'm a gardener, and I'd like to remind you about that. Nobody wants a cracked tap, which is what can happen if water is in there and you haven't shut the water off properly. 8, 9 degrees for forecast highs for Thursday. All right, sunshine, but then a chilly forecast for Halloween. We said we would break it down in a bit more detail. We're not the only ones, by the way. BC, and then a big storm that could be a wallop of a first snow for New Brunswick. That's coming up on the weekend, believe it or not. This low here, chilly weather, a very deep and broad Arctic ridge of high pressure feeding cold air in. Circulation around it is clockwise, so that keeps feeding cold air in. We're going to get some rain to start, but by evening time, the rain in green is pushing south. We're seeing that changeover as the cold air becomes more entrenched. In the afternoon time, it would be from the Bruce Peninsula up towards Lake Nipissing. The rain changed to snow. But as we get to late afternoon down towards Barrie and into the evening hours, pushing down through the north end of the GTA and eventually through the Golden Horseshoe. That trend will go through the trick-or-treating hour. Some of you in the South GTA and close to the lake in the Golden Horseshoe will have cold rain showers as opposed to wet snow showers. It's not going to stick around for long, but scattered flurries, a heads up for many. This could end up being the first sign of snow, and it would be enough to stick in patches at elevation and on the grass. Freezing cold morning Sunday. Yeah, let's quickly look at those temperatures. -1. And then Saturday, +1. So cold air is coming. And what else is coming? Well, we'll break down your local forecast. That's right after this. Thanks so much, Kim, and thank you for joining us. It is Wednesday. We're halfway to the weekend. Just a couple more days of October. Friday, of course, is Halloween. Saturday, first day of November. And don't forget, Saturday night, set the clocks back. And you may be spending more time indoors, what with the days getting shorter and also the temperatures getting colder. 5 for Toronto, for Oshawa. Hamilton and Barrie, 1 degree cooler. And that's, a good 5 below where we should be at this time of year. And that is, your eyes are not deceiving you. That is some snow in our icons here. Let me break down the Halloween forecast for you. It's an important one, no question. We are looking at calm, cool, bright conditions tomorrow. Today's been fairly cloudy. Temperatures have been fairly consistent all day. 10, 11, 8 degrees this morning. Temperatures haven't warmed up a whole lot. In some cases, they've dropped. Thursday is brighter. Friday is wetter. No way around it at this point. There's a low moving in. There's rain moving in first. There's wet snow to the north and that changeover. Lake Nipissing through the Bruce Peninsula through the early part of the afternoon, and then by late afternoon down towards Barrie, pressing south, and by mid-evening, which means that some people could still be trick-or-treating, you're watching us now, that will be affecting parts of the GTA. So it's high pressure followed by snowfall, a wallop of snow for our Atlantic coast. That's a big snowfall for New Brunswick coming up. Will turn colder and quieter Saturday. In fact, I'll break down the weekend a little bit more for you. Your local weather, that's next. In less than 30 seconds on the Weather Network, Storm Hunter's monster hurricanes. Right now, a quick snapshot of the weather across the country. Cold, sub-zero temperatures, some snow winding down for Manitoba. Eastern Canada showers, the risk of thunderstorms. It's been a mild day. It's been a gray day in the Maritimes. We've got a little bit more of that, but a brighter day tomorrow. Still below average temperatures for Ontario and for Quebec. With more, the Halloween forecast coming up in a few minutes. Another look at your locals, but right now, Storm Hunter's monster hurricanes. The Atlantic hurricane season still underway until the end of November and ongoing. Storm Hunter's more monster hurricanes in just a second. A quick snapshot of the next few days. Toronto, Barrie, Halifax, St. John's. Some pretty significant rain coming for parts of Atlantic Canada. Snow could be very heavy in New Brunswick with a new nor'easter, and rain changing to snow for southern Ontario, unfortunately in time not for Thursday, a cool day, but for Friday, which of course is trick-or-treating, and these lows merging together for the weekend storm. Now, Storm Hunters resumes. We are here to answer those big question marks as far as the weather is concerned and to fill you in on the Halloween forecast and many other things as well. Great to have your company on this Wednesday. Suzanne Leonard with the team. That is low pressure. It has largely exited Ontario, but how long is that going to last? And then we can see across to the west some very distinct features, some plumes of low pressure. East coast swells rolling in. So it's always interesting to see what's going on in the rest of the country. By the way, it's been a lovely day in the Annapolis Valley. If you happen to go to Nova Scotia this summer or a recent summer, popular spot, Nova Scotia, temperatures have hit 20 degrees in some areas. We were there yesterday. The cold front's running through us. The trough of low pressure has been contributing to some snow for Timmins and Chapleau, some showers around Georgian Bay. Thursday morning, well, still our gusty winds at times, noticeably cooler. This low is not very robust in terms of what it's bringing us today for precipitation, but it is helping the colder air to settle in. Now, colder air, Toronto at this time of year is normally 11 degrees. Most other major centers in Canada are below 11 for a normal temperature for now. In fact, we are talking about some below normal temperatures in many parts of the country. As we go towards Halloween, Winnipeg should be 5 at this time of year. Winnipeg had snow yesterday, and we are going to be getting some snow on Friday. And I'll break down the Halloween forecast for you in a bit more detail coming up. But suffice to say, Friday, blustery, cooling temperatures, some cold bursts of rain, and then likely, for many, the first real snow of the season. Maybe not enough to shovel, but enough to take notice of. So, get to that forecast in a moment. Toronto, Saturday, 5 degrees, blustery winds. Hamilton, yes, a little cooler. Elevation, a little bit higher, likely to see some snow. Long-range forecast, there's Barrie. Haha. And an 80% chance of what will no doubt be a little bit of snow early on Saturday. A cooler trend, and we talk a lot about temperatures, cool trends, cold weather. You know, there's snow, and then there's a reaction when we put up a picture like this. What did you say a moment ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was quickly followed by a yay. Meteorologist and storm hunter Mark Robinson, Suzanne Leonard. We're excited when we have dynamic weather to talk about. This is the changing of the season, but this is a first, it looks like, for many Canadians, eastern half of the country.
Yeah, this is the first potential snowfall. Now that gets me excited at this point because here we go for our winter storms. Ask me again in January, I may have a slightly different reaction.
Yes, and ask our viewers who may be thinking, where's my snow coat? I just put my big coat actually in the front hall closet recently. So, trough in the jet stream. We're going to get to the Halloween forecast in a moment because it is looking cold and unsettled. But we've got 2 areas, Mark, that could see some snow this weekend.
Yeah, the big important part of this is here's our little low developing here, but back here is that high, and all that cold air is being wrapped around that high, and of course fed into this developing low. And that's going to give us a big difference between what we saw last weekend, which was quite a bit of rain on these storms. This one is wrapping that cold in, and of course that produces snow.
From above normal temperatures early week in southern Ontario to 5 degrees for forecast highs. And look at the storm taking shape for Atlantic Canada through the weekend.
Yeah, this is this building nor'easter. Now with this one, because we may actually see some potentially large snowfalls in the New Brunswick area, this is bringing all this moisture coming up from the Atlantic being wrapped into here. Of course, there's the cold air wrapping in behind it. Combine those two, and now you've got quite a bit of snow, potentially significant snowfall in the New Brunswick region.
That's a great setup. Some of the forecast models showing 15 or 30 centimeters. So keep that in the back of your mind when we put our first snow in southern Ontario into perspective. And we are using words, Mark, like blustery, chilly. Tell us about that transition from rain over to snow in the afternoon.
Well, that's the big thing. Of course, we've got a little bit of moisture with this system because it's actually the final remnants of Anna, if you can believe it. This has, of course, got a little bit of moisture in there, wrapping in that rain. Here comes the cold air behind. There's our snow in the far northern area. But as we get into the evening period, it gets colder, and there's that line. The big question is, will we see those flakes in the downtown Toronto or in the GTA region? Right now, not entirely sure, but boy, it's going to be close.
Right, and some of the northern areas of the GTA, the early part of trick-or-treating, we could get that wet snow, maybe even late afternoon in the Barrie region.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be like, bring everything you want to wear for that.
Be prepared. Keep us tuned in. We'll, of course, have your latest.